Finding the measure of one exterior and one interior angle requires us to review what it is to find the sum of all the exterior angles and all of the interior angles. So to find the sum of the exterior angles, we know that if I were to add up all of the sides of the angles outside of a polygon, they would always add up to 360. And I know that if I were to find the sum of the interior angles, we get this by dividing our shape into triangles, which contain 180 degrees. The relationship between the number of triangles and the number of sides is always 2 less. So we multiply that 180 degrees by the quantity n minus 2, where n is the number of sides, and we get our total interior angles. So thinking about these two formulas, then, we can go ahead and apply them to how to find one exterior and one interior angle. We'll focus on one exterior angle first. To find one of anything, we are simply going to find an average. And by that, we mean we're going to take the total number of exterior angles and divide it by how many sides are there. This is very similar to finding the average of something. You add up how many are there, and you add up the total and divide by how many are there. So we're adding up the total angles outside, and we're dividing it by how many sides are there, which tells us how many total exterior angles, and that gives us just one. Well, we know the formula for the total exterior angles. That's always 360 degrees. And the number of sides, we use the letter n. So to find one exterior angle, we are going to go ahead and take 360 divided by how many sides are present. So as an example then, let's take a look at 3a. Find the measure of one exterior angle for a regular octagon. Octagon meaning that we have 8 sides. So using our formula, one exterior angle is equal to 360 degrees, the total divided by the number of sides, or 360 degrees divided by 8 gives us a measure of 45 degrees for one exterior angle. Okay. Jumping over to measure of one interior angle, we are again going to find an average where we're going to find the total number of interior angles and divide by how many sides are there. Well, unlike the exterior angle, where the total number of exterior angles was always 360 divided by n, due to the fact that the sum of exterior angles was always just 360, we are going to have to first calculate the total number of degrees inside of a shape using our formula 180 times n minus 2, and then divide by how many. So these problems require us to do a little bit more work, where we have to first calculate the total and then divide it up into the equal number of sections, which in this case is the number of sides, versus one exterior angle where it's always just 360, so we just divide it up amongst the number of sides that are there. So, interior angle for a regular octagon. In this case, n is equal to 8 again. So we start with our formula, where we have to first calculate the total number of degrees inside of an octagon using 180 degrees times n minus 2, and then divide by how many sides are there, which is 8. So 180 times the quantity 8 minus 2 gives us 1080 degrees inside of an 8-sided shape. And if we divide that up equally amongst the 8 sides, or the 8 angles that are currently there, that gives us an answer of 135 degrees for each measure of each angle inside of an octagon. Again, zooming out here to take a look at the difference between these two problems. Same idea of taking a total divided by number of sides, except exterior is always 360. We have to divide up evenly, versus interior, we have to calculate the total number first most often, and then divide it up equally amongst the number of angles and or sides that are there. So let's go ahead and finish off both of these two problems. Find the measure of one exterior angle of a regular 14 gon, which means that n is equal to 14. So since we're doing x, the number of sides, which gives us 360 degrees divided by 14, which approximately equals 25.7 degrees for the measure of each exterior angle in a 14-sided shape. 3C, find the measure of one exterior angle. Once again, exterior angle 45 gon, we have 45 sides. N is equal to 45. So substituting these values in, is 360 divided by 45, or 8 degrees. Going over to finish off the measure of one interior angle for 4B, find the measure of one interior angle with a 14-sided shape n is equal to 14. We'll start with our formula, 180 times n minus 2 divided by n, where we first have to calculate the total number of degrees. There gives us 180 times 14 minus 2, which gives us by the 14 sides that are present in this shape, gives us approximately 154.3 degrees for the measure of each interior angle. For C, following the same pattern, we're going to find the measure of one interior angle from a 45-sided shape, n is equal to 45. So we start with our one interior times n. The 45 sides that are present gives us 7,740 degrees, all divided by 45, which gives us a measure of 172 degrees for the measure of each interior angle. Again, process of these two problems is very, very similar. We are taking total and dividing it by how many sides are present. So, but in the measures of interior angles, we need to first calculate how many are there and then divide by how many sides, versus 360, where we just know it's always 360.